Welcome to America 451 with your host, Bill Monty.
Hello, my friends. This is Bill Monty, and I'm back with another episode of America 451. And America, listen up, because this is what you're doing to piss me off this week. First, a little politics. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. I'm always amazed at what this man can do. If I were a comedian, or if I were making money at doing this, I'd be getting rich, just reporting on Donald Trump. And I think what's amazing to me, more than anything else, my friends, is that there's actually half of the country that thinks he's not bat-you-know-what crazy, that think he's got a pretty good idea. And we've discussed on previous episodes my opinion of why that might be. But what has old Donnie been doing this week, huh? Well, let's have a look. Don was talking about the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And he went on to criticize General Mark Milley as a stupid person. I'm reading over here. That's why I'm looking over here. Yes, I want to be sure I get it right. I want to be sure I don't misquote Donald Trump, because God knows that would be terrible. So what he said of General Mark Milley was he's a stupid person. A stupid person. And then he said that his former chief of staff, the guy that was chief of staff that Trump chose when he was president, John Kelly, one of the dumbest people I've ever met. Really, he's just not bright. He's not a bright man. Guys like John Kelly, one of the dumbest people I've ever met. He's a bully, but he's a weak bully. You know, we just have some stupid people. I'm glad he finally admitted it. I wonder if he was holding up a mirror when he said that. And maybe his disdain and disregard for military people, and I don't know if John Kelly's a great military person or a great chief of staff or not, but I know that he served. I know that he served this country. And you don't do that when you're president or you're running for president. And you don't show up like an idiot at Arlington Cemetery. There is no more worshiped place where soldiers, former military personnel lie in this country than Arlington National Cemetery. And if you've never been there, I can tell you, it's one of the most moving sights you'll ever see going there. And they have rules. And even if you're a former president of the United States, you're supposed to follow those rules. You don't get to make up stuff. You don't get to, as it's being explained to your staff, what you can and cannot do. You don't get to push that person out of the way and just walk out and decide you're going to do whatever. That's being a bully. That's being a weak bully. And then you don't stand there like an idiot and pop up your thumb. I'm at Arlington Cemetery. Yeah. Was he a little Jack Horner who sat in a corner eating that pie, stuck in his thumb? He pulled out a plum and said, "Oi, what a dumb boy am I." Come on. Listen, I know that with Donald Trump, we do not have the brightest bulb in the chandelier walking around. But can someone please curb this guy? All right. Donald Trump released this week the money that he's been making on some of his books. Now, the fact that Donald Trump can write is amazing to me. He's got ghostwriters. He did that, what was that deal, Making of the Deal, Art of the Deal, many years back. He didn't write it. It was a ghostwriter. But it took some of his ideas. I get it. A lot of people do that, so we'll give him that. But that he has all these books that he claims that he wrote, that his books, no. But the biggest book that he's selling, and I don't know if he's claiming that he wrote it, is the God Bless the USA Bible. And folks, if you're a religious person, I just want to know why the Bible that's supposedly the Word of God, the St. James or whatever Bible it is that you follow, why that suddenly is no good, and the Trump Bible is something that's a little bit better. I mean, all I can figure out is maybe, I don't know, did he change some things? You know, in my Bible, Jesus, he doesn't die. And that's a bad ending. People don't like that ending. I know people that they told me, a lot of religious people, they say, we don't like that ending. And I can't prove it, but I think the Democrats killed Jesus. I think it was Kamala Harris or Kamala or Kamala. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Maybe it's Kofifa Harris. I don't know. I mean, it's the same Bible, isn't it? But you actually spend money. You know how I know you spend money? His residuals from his sales of it, according to him, what was released, around $350,000 at $60 a pop. Lord Almighty, please help us. That's my Bible. Vice President Harris finally agreed to do an interview. Yay! Thank you, Vice President Harris. Now we get to hear some of your great strategies and ideas, like how you're really going to do things, and the things you say you're going to do, you're going to pay for them. Like, I'm sorry, what did she say? She likes fracking? What? I thought fracking was a bad thing. Are we supposed to not like fracking if we're a liberal? Oh, okay. Yeah, she's going to take care of the middle class. She's going to stop people from raising grocery prices, from price gouging, and she's going to help the middle class out. She doesn't say how she's going to do that or how she's going to pay for it. Hey, great. We've already got one candidate saying, oh, he's going to do all this stuff with no idea of how he's going to do it and no idea, frankly, if he could do it. And now our other candidates doing exactly the same thing, making all these promises that they have no idea how they're going to keep. But at least I've got an old white guy sitting next to me that could possibly make it all happen. Don't you feel better that he is sitting there? He didn't say much during the interview, did he? He just kind of sat there like, yeah. I look like Uncle Joe on Petticoat Junction. Speaking of old TV shows, by the way, I'm glad to see they're trying a reboot of Gilligan's Island, brought to you by Boeing. Yeah. Isn't it something that we believe that Boeing, which is a company that makes airplanes that lose their doors at 35,000 feet, and that people who are whistleblowers mysteriously die, that two people on this planet thought, yeah, letting them send me up to the space station, here's a good idea. Really? Did you think that was a good idea? When it had to be canceled, one time, two times before because it wasn't working, and then even approaching the space station, it was like, uh-oh. Oh, dear. Yeah. Listen, my first car ever was a Corvair. And I think that this spaceship that Boeing made is kind of like my first car, which had these little vents on the floor. And down here in Florida, it kind of floods. And the water used to come in. And one time I actually found a weed. Not weed like what you smoke, but weed like you'd find in your yard growing in the rug. And that's what Corvairs were. And I think that's what we have there. So what was originally supposed to be an 8-day tour has now turned into months and months and months. And this week they said that maybe they have a way to get Lovey and Thurston Howell III back home. Lovey, I hear that Elon Musk is coming for us. This should be good, don't you think? Oh, Thurston, yes. I wonder if they also brought a whole bunch of clothes like the Howells did for that 3-hour tour on the island. Remember how many clothes all those people had? They were just going away for 3 hours. Yeah, well. But anyway, I hope they did, because their 3-hour tour, much like the Gilligan's Island family, is also turning into one that goes months and months and months. Maybe they'll even meet the Harlem Globetrotters up there. Maybe. And when did we become a country, by the way, that can figure out how to do this stuff quicker? I remember seeing a movie back like 1970 with Gene Hackman called Marooned. Happened right before Apollo 13. I actually had trouble out in space. But it was about a ship breaking down. And everyone, they couldn't figure out how to get anything going up there fast enough to get up to save them. But we are a country and part of a world that has invented things like AI, right? We've got laptops. We have computers in our hands all the time during the day. We can figure out how to do amazing things. And yet other things we just can't do it all. We just don't, in America, we just don't make things well anymore. We make selfies. That's all we seem to make well. Social media. But I think we've forgotten how to produce reliable products. And if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, I think we'd be saving those people up in space right now. But there's always something else. And you know what that something else is for me? How come we can afford to send people up in space, but we can't afford to feed them right here in America? Why is Congress always talking about they're going to have to cut back Medicare and Social Security like it's a gift they've been giving us, as opposed to something that was paid into by every American? And when you expect to get it, suddenly you start hearing, well, there's not enough money. Let me tell you something. We got enough money to send people into space that we can't even guarantee we can get them back home. We've got enough money to hand out to other countries all the time for war, for disasters, for everything else. We just can't seem to find money to take care of Americans. And I haven't heard Harris or Trump or anyone else except Bernie Sanders ever express a need or desire to get that done and get it done now. This is the one that's really ticking me off. In a month or two, they're going to announce the new COLA increase, the cost of living increase for Social Security. And that's probably going to be somewhere around 2.7% to 3%, which is next to nothing. You might not have noticed, but in the last year or two, groceries have gone up about 20%. So even the way that we measure all of this stuff doesn't make any sense. We're looking at inflation rate versus what the actual cost is. Does that seem broken to anyone but me? Seems pretty broken to me. If we got enough money, if we can always find $1 trillion to give to Ukraine, I'm not against giving money to Ukraine to fight the communists and fight Russia, not at all. But if we can find $1 billion or $1 trillion to do that, can we find $1 billion or $1 trillion to help people who are losing their homes, help seniors who are becoming homeless? You know the number one demographic in America that's becoming homeless more than any other? Seniors. And seniors who thought they were safe. They bought their homes, they paid everything off, but now because of the increase of homeowners associations, insurance for your home, everything else, they're losing their houses. That's ridiculous. How does this happen in this country? I know here in Florida, we got a governor who thinks it's a wonderful idea to put golf courses in national parks. You know, Florida has something like 1,500 golf courses throughout the state. Why do we need more? We don't. But that's the kind of bizarre thinking that we do in this country now. Now, as of this morning, I read that the governor actually came back and said, it might have been a half-baked idea. Maybe we won't do it. But if there hadn't been this outcry from Floridians saying, no, we're not going to do that one. We're crazy, but we're not that crazy, they'd have pushed it through. To put golf courses. That's what I mean. We got backward thinking going on here. We're not thinking about the environment. We're not thinking about seniors. We're not thinking about people who need assistance. We're all distracted by the political game going on. And just like they said in that movie Network so many years ago, the great words of Patty Chayefsky, which I don't recall word for word, but just leave me alone. Let me sit in my living room with my chair and my TV and my refrigerator and my oven, and don't bother me. Because there's nothing I can do about what's going on outside. And that feeling of helplessness is what's really got me ticked off this week. And it's why I believe America has reached that burning point of 451 degrees Fahrenheit. America 451. My friends, I hope that you will leave comments, that you will like and share this video. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button. I'm not doing a lot of promotion for this. I'm kind of putting it out there just to see what happens. I'm relying on you to help me out. I'm not charging you for this. So if you're enjoying it, if it makes sense to you, just share it. If you think it's stupid, go ahead and share it too, and like it and subscribe to see what dumb thing I'm going to do or say next. You can send it to your friend and say, look at this idiot. I hope also, if this isn't your cup of tea, maybe you will join me in my other podcast, Tales from South Florida. We're talking about the history, the people, the places, and events that made and make South Florida an incredibly unique place to live. and Bill Monty's Guide for Getting Older, where we talk more about things like Social Security and Medicare, programs that can help you, and just what happens as you get older, especially in America. One thing I am is older. So I've got the experience to be right about that. Okay, so you've got your assignment. Hit like, hit share, make a comment, and subscribe. And try to fix some of these other problems that we're talking about. And don't make me yell at you again. Until next time, I'm out of here.